Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello again. This is MUSAU MattmeachamJR, signing again from Kampala, Uganda, on a sunny day. I had started a broadcast earlier, but what happened was my computer ran out of juice. So now what I have done is I have recharged my computer, which means that I can talk for quite a while if you are willing to listen. Okay, now what happened was this morning when I began my broadcast, we were talking about the other variable that I had isolated in my formula. Just a quick review. If you haven't been following me, what has happened is that I have isolated one particular variable. Uh, that variable is I, and that I equals infinity. And I did a detailed discussion on the idea of infinity. And after that detailed discussion that I previously made, then I came to the conclusion that relativity is, excuse me, I'm sorry, infinitive is relative. I mean, infinitive means never stopping, going on forever. That's quite interesting. But it's interesting how we look at things. If we can actually, this is the paradox. We can see infinity, but we cannot realize infinity. Okay, in other words, it's really interesting. Okay, we can see infinity, but we cannot actually realize infinity. There'll be more and more discussion on infinity. But right now, if you have been following me, I've isolated three variables: I for infinity, L for love, and C for communication. What is the objective of all this? Okay, I'm trying to formulate. I'm trying to. I'm trying to acknowledge. I'm trying to discover a formula that would preserve humanity. I've already made the contention that Einstein's theory, E equal mc squared, I don't know if he purposely designed it. I mean, he didn't design it, but he advocated it. I don't think that he purposely advocated that E equals mc squared was a design for mass murder or bombs of mass destruction where human populations could be wiped out. I don't think that I don't think that initially that when Einstein discovered E equals mc squared, I don't think in his uh, pronouncements of E mc squared, I don't think in the very beginning that he was thinking about destroying humanity. But what happened is it ended that formula which he discovered and shared with mankind. That formula E equals mc squared led to bombs of mass destruction. And we're talking close to 100 years ago when two atomic bombs were dropped on Japan by the U.S. government. And we realized the power of a nuclear bomb. But that was almost 100, well, about 80 something years ago. But that was almost 100 years ago when those first two bombs of mass destruction were actually used on the human population. And now we are almost 100 years from that period in history, and we are still, when I say we, mankind, governments, we are still manufacturing bombs of mass destruction. And these bombs are 100 times more dangerous than the bombs that the American government dropped on Japan close to 100 years ago. And basically, we are in a period of this period in history of mankind. It's the nuclear period because there are several governments throughout the world who have the power of a nuclear bomb. And out of these several countries, any of all of these countries who have the nuclear bomb, any one of maybe 10 different countries that in the world can actually destroy a great number of people. I guess it's more than 10 nations that exist that have the nuclear bomb. That nuclear bomb, the bombs are so powerful that 2 or 3 of those bombs sent to a nation, it can actually destroy a whole nation, not just, it's going to destroy, San Francisco. No. The power of the bombs that are available to nations today, and there are more. The U.S. government is not the only government who has nuclear weapons. 2 or 3 of those weapons could destroy an entire country. 20 million, 40, 50, 100 million people with that instrument. So that means that man has potential to destroy himself. Now, since man has the potential to destroy himself, and when I study history, I find in history that whenever man has the powers, or whenever a government has the power over another government, most of the time, that government which has the power will use its power to establish dominance. I cannot get off of this. I cannot get off of this subject. The more and more, the subject that I'm going to bring up now, I cannot get off of this subject because the more and more time and the more studying that I do concerning the situation which I'm getting ready to discuss, it spells out to me quite clearly what man will do, and I'll show you. I mean, this guy, and I'm getting ready to talk about this guy was indeed infamous, Adolf Hitler. Okay, these guys did not have atomic weapons. But when we examine history and the things that these Gestapo, these Nazi people did, the things that they did to other human beings, it is incredible. Baking in an oven, experimenting on human beings like they were animals, but putting them in trains and taking them to concentration camps and just totally dehumanizing these human beings. And the Nazis did not have the atomic bomb. In fact, in World War II, Hitler killed more people than Truman. At that time, the president of the United States, his name is Truman, I think. He's the one who dropped he's the one who's responsible for the bombs being dropped on Japan. But Hitler, I mean, he didn't just kill people. I mean, the tortures, the things that he did to these people, women, children, babies. Not in war, but 6, 7, 8 million people who were not warriors, but just people who are human beings who are walking on the street with their families. And then all of a sudden, the Gestapo picks them up and throws them on a train and takes them to a concentration camp. We're talking 6, 7 million human beings. He killed. I'm not talking about his soldiers. I'm talking about his experiments in those concentration camps. He killed over 6 million human beings. He baked them. He cut them up. He cut tattoos off of men and made men and women and made window shades. The things that those Nazis did to that human population prior to World War II, that tells me that given the power, man would do very destructive things. So given the power, that there are many nations who have the power of a nuclear weapon, there is a man, there is a government, there is a country that will use that power, and hundreds of million human souls will perish in the fire. Or in biblical, we get the biblical accounts. Many are the biblical broadcasts or the biblical projections. There will be the fire next time. And that fire will be the usage of a nuclear weapon, where some man, some human being would make a determination that he wants to destroy a human population. So the E equal MC squared led to the atomic bomb. Now, and the atomic bomb led to other bombs, the hydrogen bombs, and bombs even greater than those bombs. And we're talking about super bombs. We're talking about one bomb. You drop one bomb in one small country, and that whole country is destroyed. I mean, the people perish in the fire. So the reality of it, we have to accept. But why we have to accept it is because who and what man is and what man will do given the power to do it. So one madman pushes the red button, boom. What? Retaliation, human nature, retaliation. You hit me, I hit you back. Despite whoever dies in our relationship. You bum me, I bum you. Now wait a minute. Whoever pushes that first button, whatever government pushes that first button, the war is over. Because if you send a bomb to my country and then kill my people with a nuclear weapon, I am going to send a bomb to your country and I'm going to kill your people. Wait a minute. A bomb here and a bomb there. Wait a minute. What's going on, mankind? Mankind. That's how mankind was designed, I guess. I'm only a part of mankind. So what I'm saying, since we have the weapons of mass destruction, and we have men who will do anything to maintain power or to be in control. So it's just a matter of time. When? It's just a matter of time. What government? How many governments have atomic weapons? So knowing that the usage of atomic bomb is the prelude to the extension or to the destruction of mankind. That's what I'm thinking about. Once the nuclear war began, that's the beginning of the end. Okay. Now, what I'm trying to do is to find, just as Albert Einstein found they discovered the formula E equal mc squared. Okay, I know I'm repetitive, but if you if you've heard me in other lectures, I'm almost always saying the same thing. So what I'm saying is this: E equal mc squared. It was the beginning of the nuclear age. E equal mc squared was the beginning of man contemplating mass human destruction. So that formula, E equal mc squared, that formula has always existed in nature. Einstein did not create that formula. He did not create that reality. It's just that he discovered that reality. He discovered that reality and he revealed it. And he revealed his discovery to mankind. So the reality of E equal mc squared has always existed in nature. And all Einstein did was he discovered it. He detected it. He explored it and he gave it to mankind. If there's a formula that actually promote the destruction of humanity, then there's also a formula that exists in nature. It has always existed. That formula to maintain the existence of humanity, it's there. It exists in the ultra reality. If Einstein can go into the ultra reality and pull out E equal mc squared, and Einstein was only a man. He was born through a woman. He came through a woman's womb. He lived. He ate like other men. He was a human being like myself. So, if a human being can pull up, can detect, can pull up the formula E equal mc squared, then another human being can discover the other formula, which is it's already there. It has existed since the beginning of time. That formula is a formula to prevent the destruction, a total destruction of humanity. That's the formula I'm working on. And I've already isolated I. And I'm seeing that I is so crucial. I equal infinity. I is so crucial in this order. Now, I'm always when I finally realized what I was excited. You know why I was excited? Because I found out that infinity, is relative. So what is infinity? Infinity, okay, infinity, it means never stopping. What does that mean? Never stopping. Okay, let's get it from a theological standpoint. Everlasting. Everlasting. Never ending. So it's something quite crucial. It's something quite crucial about the concept of infinity. And boy, I kind of deal with it. But right now, since I already know that I is an important variable in the formula, I already know that. I know that I is very important in the formula. So I got my eye. I'm going back. I will never stop going back to it because it's so essential in the formula. Now, you got I. But there are two other variables that we must explore to discover the formula. The formula to keep mankind from becoming extinct. So what I have to do, I have to look at all three variables. I must look at them in all different directions. And then when I can get a total comprehension, then I can figure out how to formulate the operation. E equals mc squared. An operation, energy equals mass times speed of light squared. That's an operation. Now, I got to get my three variables, and I have to get an operation for these three variables. Infinitive, whoa, it's very crucial. We've got two other variables. L, love. C, communication. And I got to start talking about the L variable, love. Now, when we talk about infinity, that's cool. It's quite complex, but look at the paradox. Infinitive is complex but simple. It's hard for me to get away from that concept. It's so exciting to deal with the concept of infinity, but we have to deal with those other two variables. Two other variables. Love, L. You get love, L. C, communication. That we haven't even gotten to communication yet. We're still on love. That's the reason why we are still on love, because it's so difficult to get off of infinity. But we have to do it. We deal with love because now we're talking human beings. Now we're talking humanity. Now we're talking compassion. The love of humanity. The love of humanity. It's the inspiration that makes humanity prevail. Okay? You must love humanity to ensure that humanity continues to exist. But we loving humanity, but the concept that we have to actually deal with, and we have to deal with it from every direction at this point in time, is love. L-O-V-E, love. Okay, let's take the level of a mother. Of course. What happens is when we deal with concepts, there seems to always be an exception to the rule. And when you'll see, and watch, remember this, an exception to the rule. Now we're talking love. Now, supposedly, okay, my contention is this, that the mother loves the baby in her womb. There are some mothers who do not love. See, there we go. There is an exception to the rule. But let's put the exception to the rule, let's put it in its place and leave it there. And then deal with the purity of the concept. Every statement that you make, there is an exception to the rule. But look, let's not talk about the exceptions. Let's talk about the statement and the expectations or the anticipation of the statement. The mother loves the child. Okay? She nurtures herself and she prepares the child to be born. First thing, human, the mammal, first thing that happens, the mother We're talking humanity coming into existence. But let's go even before the mother loves the child. Forget about exceptions. Because remember, we know there are exceptions. We know, okay, let's make that clear. There are exceptions to every rule. We're not talking about the exceptions. We're talking about the standards, the expectations. Before the mother loves a child, then the husband and the wife must love each other, compassion for each other. And the father and the mother have compassion for each other. The standard is they produce a child. First, the love happens between man and woman. And then man and woman expresses their love in the sexual act. That's the first one. That's where love begins between two human beings, a man and a woman. A man loves his wife. And he goes with her. And they go into the acts of sex. And she loves him, he loves her. And boom, he fertilizes the egg within the womb. Okay, now the man is gone. Now it's the woman. She loves child. She does everything out of her love. The mother. She loves the child as the child lives in her womb. Now, look at, I gotta just go sidetrack just a little bit. And because I have to go back, I will come back to this. Now, remember that this fetus that exists in the womb of the mother exists in the universe. It exists in the world. It's a life form. The fetus in the mother's womb, the fetus is in a different world, in the world when it becomes human. But hold on to that, because right now we're talking about love. Okay, so what happens is the love act produces a child. And then you go to the whole thing of building a family, coming together, and being at ease with each other. And some people are fortunate. They love their families, and their families love them. So love, remember back the word love. Basically, okay, take a deer. No, take a hyena. The most ferocious, ugliest animal you could think of. Take a bear, a grizzly bear. You know these bears that eat humans. That grizzly bear, after it lets that baby come out, it will kill you because of the love for that baby bear. Remember one thing, whether it's a grizzly bear or whether it was a wild hyena, remember there was one thing that was interjected: love, talking compassion. Compassion. Oh. Then you have exceptions to the rule. And I think when we have that exception to the rules, we begin to go into corruption. So we're going to talk about corruption now. Right now, we're just talking about the concept of love. Here's a woman. She's walking down the street. She sees a child all alone. When she looks and sees that the child has no one. No one. So her heart is touched. And she goes and rescues the child. What did she go rescue the child? Compassion. Compassion for the human being. And when we say compassion, we still talk love. So, compassion and love are almost interchangeable. We're talking about the human entity. We're talking about the preservation of humanity. So, in order to preserve humanity, you must love humanity. Okay? Yeah. We got infinity. I will never leave it alone. We got infinity. I for infinity. Never, never ending. Now we got a variable. We got a concept. This concept, this concept says it never stops, continuously, infinity. One concept, continuous flow, a never-ending action, infinity, love, another concept, continuous flow. Look, continuous flow, a continuous flow, infinity, a continuous flow, never stopping. Love, another concept, another variable, another variable. Let's look at it. The concept love, infinity, 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 a never ending flow. Look at that. It's just an infinity. Forever. Forever. This is the variable L for love. This is MUSAU MattmeachamJR signing off in Kampala, Uganda, East.